Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
And now, here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome to Wednesday, Dominic. We are the Devil's Advocates. Thanks for joining us today. About ready to get started, Dominic.
Busy day today. Once again, there's always stuff going on.
A contentious day, perhaps, in the state of Wisconsin.
No question.
There is only going to be one mining meeting. There is only going to be one opportunity for the public to give their approval,
Input.
perhaps,
Ask
give
questions.
their input, ask questions of their legislatures. And today it's happening here in Madison, just, 4 or 5 hours south of the actual proposed mining site?
Yes,
That doesn't make any logic, Dominic.
Well, are you suggesting they should actually
Are you
have
listening
the,
to me?
I was just looking at the internet here, looking at an article. Are you suggesting they should have the meeting at the mining site, Crute?
Perhaps. Let's go to the scene of the crime today. We've got Assemblyman Brett Hulsey. Brett's been our point man on this issue. Brett, welcome to the Devil's Advocates. What can you tell us about today's event?
First of all, guys, congrats on being on in the afternoon. You guys are ruling, So.
Hey, thanks a lot, Brett. It's all due to you, man.
Yeah,
It was destiny.
All those call-ins Saturday at noon finally added up.
You were my first caller, Brett.
Well, I'm here for you. So. But no, it's basically just a sham. I mean, they let the authors of the bill go, and the strip mine company got to testify for an hour, but everybody else gets to testify for 2 minutes. It's unbelievable. They obviously, the Republicans don't like the fact that this is a strip mine giveaway bill written by out-of-state lobbyists, and I keep pointing that out, and they keep shutting me down. So hard to believe. So,
Brett, I hear that this bill differs from the last version. Of course, you better figure out the difference in the next 6 hours or so, because that's the only opportunity you're going to have to review this bill. But,
yeah, well, I got it yesterday. It's over 200 pages, and I got up at 4 o'clock this morning and continued my reading, but I didn't get quite all the way through it.
So, Brett, is it worse? Is it worse than the prior proposal that was narrowly defeated last legislative session?
It's actually sneakier. I mean, the out-of-state strip mine lobbyists are learning. They're sneaky, but what they do is they say, well, we don't weaken standards, we just weaken the way DNR implements the standards for protecting drinking water and other things. And it gives 40% of the mine profits to the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, which we now know cannot organize a two-car parade. We have, according to Forbes magazine, we have the 42nd worst job creation in the nation, thanks to, Governor Walker's great...
Brett, but we're moving up on the CEO rankings.
That's true. Our CEOs are getting richer while our workers are struggling to get a job at all.
So, Brett, what is it specifically about this legislation? I have to admit, I'm not too read on this topic. So, what is the company proposing that we do away with certain EPA regulations, that they just come in and do what they want? I mean, what is it specifically that you have a problem with?
Specifically, what it does is this is sort of a low grade ore deposit of basically iron. It's called taconite.
Right.
And U.S. Steel did a plan to mine it in 1957, 66 years ago, and they haven't mined it because it's so poor quality and the economics is so bad. So you have this billionaire out-of-state coal company tycoon coming in saying, we want to weaken all these laws and we'll build you this iron mine. Well, while at the same time, Cleveland Cliffs, which is laying off over 600 people in Minnesota and Michigan. So it's not really about creating an iron mine. It's about using this to gut and weaken our drinking water protections and basic environmental protections. It's got one thing in there that says the mine company's not responsible for anything more than 1,000 feet below the mine. But once this acid that's in this rock starts leaching down, it'll go into Lake Superior, could go into the drinking water of Ashland. We heard from one city council person, and could wipe out, the drinking water and the rice beds for the Indian tribe, trout fishing. And the economy up there is tourism-based. It's not really strip mine-based. So,
Hey, I hear Tim Cullens and Dale Schultz have offered an alternative, a bipartisan alternative, if you will, Brett. Clearly, there must be some support among Democrats, or there wouldn't be a bipartisan alternative being offered. You know, what do you think the difference between these two bills would be?
well, first of all, Tim Cullivan and Dale Schultz held 20 hours of hearings where they listened to all sides. They didn't cut people off in mid-sentence after 2 minutes. And I went to some of those hearings. They were, very long and thorough. And they listened to people, and they said, if you really want to improve our mining laws a responsible way, you'll make these changes. Well, Wisconsin polluters and lobbyists come in with this bill, and, they just want to gut our wetlands laws, our drinking water laws. They want to allow the strip mine company to move streams and lakes around, destroy some here, which is against the Constitution, I believe, so, and threaten our drinking water, so.
I heard a gentleman being interviewed, a guy from Wisconsin Manufacturing and Commerce yesterday. And Brett, this guy claims that this will be a $2 billion injection of capital into the Wisconsin economy, and that a county like Iron County that, has a median income of $24,000, when you talk about these mining jobs, they pay $60,000. Isn't it reasonable to think that some people do want this mine and that there is some activity that's going to be created from this endeavor?
Yeah, that number, by the way, it's sort of like Pinocchio talking. Every time he tells a lie, his nose gets longer. It's started out less than $1 billion. It's like, they're just making stuff up because the company that actually produced that report, according to UW analysis, far overinflated any jobs. The Mining Association person said there won't be any mining jobs for 7 years. And, Wisconsin, we need jobs right now. I have my energy jobs plan that'll put 11,000 people to work tomorrow, making, increasing efficiency and reducing waste all across the state. So this is not a real jobs plan. The other thing is if the company was serious about jobs, they would have kept moving forward on their application, and they would just about be ready to go to their hearing to get their permit. They started 2 years ago.
And they withdrew their initial application, if I'm correct.
Well, they got an exploration permit, and then they started poking around, and then they opened an office in Hurley, then they closed the office in Hurley, and then they printed yard signs, and they spent, millions lobbying the legislature. But it's like, guys, it's like my parents said, apply yourself. Give us an application. So.
Brett, is there a circumstance in which you could support this mining legislation and these jobs and this company coming into Wisconsin?
You guys will be amazed to hear. I actually worked a gold claim in Alaska. I was like Yukon Cornelius up there.
That doesn't surprise me one iota.
Yeah, I worked there when I was 19. I was, go up there and, it's glorified ditch digging is what it was for me anyway. But so I believe that responsible mining is I was talking to the busload of operating engineers who came down from Hurley. I'm going, guys, we need a ironclad project labor agreement so that Wisconsin union workers get these jobs, not these out-of-state, the 600,000 out-of-state miners from Minnesota and Michigan. So that's the kind of dialogue we're trying to have. So.
Hey, Brett Hulsey, thanks a lot for giving us some insight as to what's happening with this mining bill. You are our point guy on this issue and many others, I suspect. Assemblyman Brett Hulsey, thanks for joining the Devil's Advocate Show. Folks, we've got Hillary on the grill on the hill. How do you like that alliteration, Dom? We'll be back after this short break.
Thanks, guys.